Hello. Good afternoon. All right, y'all. We are going to, I got a couple of different things I got to do. So I can't be on here real long. And unless I get questions, I'm just going to give this real quick and I'm going to jump off. So today, ladies, we need to talk about the mama's boy. Okay. We're about to go there. And if you have not, if you have not dated a mama's boy, oh gosh, I consider you blessed because it is a monumental task to deal with this man. It is a whole lot, and it's going to have you conflicted in so many ways, right? It's going to have you beyond conflicted dealing with this man. However, he is not ready for a real, authentic, masculine, feminine dynamic relationship. He's not, because he is still very much entangled with his mother. And so much so, these men, they really struggle. They really struggle because as much as they are attached to their moms, they are men. They want to have sex, right? So it's like they want to get their emotional needs met from their mom, but they want to have sex and, they can't have sex with their mother. So they find themselves conflicted. They want mom as their best friend. They want mom to meet their emotional needs, but they have sexual needs. And so they know they can't go there. And so they have to go outside of her to get those needs met. And so let's talk a little bit about some of the signs and symptoms of the mama's boy. Okay, she says, I got to hear your perspective about the mothers babying their sons too much. Ooh, Lord, I can go all day. Hello. Hi, Natasha. I can go all day. I can go all day about that conversation and how we're part of the problem. See, that's what, women don't want to hear, but we need to hear it. We're part of the problem. We really are. And, men are definitely part of the problem. So the fathers, the absentee fathers, the fathers who, are there, but are still not parenting. They're still not fathering. They're a huge part of the problem. So if I could, can I be honest with y'all on here today? So if I could give that part of the problem, the sons not having the guidance or the direction or, being mama's boys or coddled or whatever. So if I could give it a percentage, I would say 70% of the problem is the father and 30% of the problem is the mother. Okay? So you heard it here first. I just told you 70% of the problem is the father. It's either the father not being there, the father not being in his healthy masculine, the father not doing the job that he has to bring his son into masculinity. 70% of that problem is him. And then when he's not doing what he's supposed to do, okay, it falls on the mother, and the mother is doing the absolute best that she can do. She is there. She is present. She is nurturing her children. She is, teaching her children. She is guiding and directing her children. However, it is her natural inclination to nurture the children, to protect them, to make sure they are kept from harm's way. And so she's going to do that and then some with her sons, which in turn will in fact cripple him. So she plays a 30% part, but the father is 70% of the problem. So I'm going through this very thing myself. I could talk all day about this because I'm going through this very thing myself. Their dad is not really, doing the job that a healthy masculine father would do. And so I'm left to do the best I can. And I am not a coddler. I think that's just naturally me. I love my kids. I think when they're small is when I'm most nurturing, like when they're small and they're babies and they're little and they're toddlers. I'm very nurturing. I'm very loving. I'm very hands-on. And then as they get older, I definitely become strict. I become strict. I run a tight ship. I take no foolishness. I believe in teaching my children how to cook, how to clean up after themselves, how to wash their clothes, take care of their pets. I've done all of that. I taught my son how to drive. I taught him how to cut the grass. I've taught him how to use the blower. I've taught him a myriad of things just based on what my mom and dad taught me. And so just how to be a good, well-rounded person. But there are lots of parts of the masculine journey that I can't teach. I can't teach my son that. So that's the part that his dad is supposed to pick up on, but he just will not. He will not. He is really struggling in that area. And even though I am persisting in saying, hey, you need to be with your son. Hey, you need to talk to your son. Hey, you and your son need to do this. Hey, I'm persisting. And I'm getting pushback. And if you have not heard me say this, I'm going to say it here right now. So I believe that when a boy turns 12 or 13, that he should live with his father. He should spend from 13 to 18 with his father. And I've had a whole lot of pushback from single moms about that. Like, they ain't having that. What? No, why? This and that. Okay. But that's what I honestly believe. Now, remember this, because if you haven't heard me say that, 2 conditions must be present. Okay? 2 conditions must be present. The man must be able to do it, meaning he's in his right mind. He's not toxic. He's not suffering from a mental disability. He's not addicted. He's not violent. Like, he needs to be emotionally able to take this, to be with the son and provide the healthy masculine role model. Okay, so that's the first condition. The second condition, this is the condition that I have bumped into quite a bit, is he has to want to do it. He has to want to do that. And let's go there. Most men don't. A whole lot of men do. Y'all, in my journey as a single mother, I have met 6 single fathers who have full-time custody of their children. And, 6 full-time fathers. I have met 12 part-time fathers who have like 50-50 custody. And then I've met a whole lot of men who have like visitation every other weekend. They see their kids here and there, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But 6 full-time fathers. I consider my worldview to be very comprehensive, that I feel blessed that I've been able to be friends with 6 full-time fathers, 6 men who have their kids all the time for various reasons, whether the mother died, whether the mother ran off, so many reasons with those 6 men. But I've really been blessed to be friends with those men and to see how they navigate parenthood by themselves. Like, that's the mind altering thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like a true, flip in this single mom thing that we always talk about, to see a single dad. And then of course I have men who are, part-time, they have 50-50 custody. And I even respect that, because these men want to parent their children. So that's the second condition. The man wants to do it. And unfortunately, in my case, that's not the case. That's not the case. I would say 1 and 2. Like, that's not the case. He don't want to do it. So yeah, we cannot force something on a person that they don't want. That could actually lead to more problems. So that's just what I think, though. If I could have had that, if I had someone that fit the description of 1 and 2, as hard as it would have been, I would have done it. And then I would have visit my son at his dad's, or had him visit me. But dad would have been the primary parent from 13 to 18. So that's just what I think. How you feel about it is how you feel about it. But we're going to talk about this mama's boy. I know about this all too well, because I was married to someone who was and still is a mama's boy. And I'm going to give you the signs and the symptoms. Hello, I'm going to give you the signs and the symptoms of this. Tell me in the comments if this is something that you've ever dealt with. If you've ever dated a man who not only, loved and cherished his mother, but the relationship was enmeshed. The relationship was codependent. The relationship, was toxic. The relationship was one of almost godlike adoration, or what's the word I'm looking for? Just someone who worshiped their mother. Like, that's not healthy, right? That's not healthy. So number 1, this is the thing that's going to conflict you about this man, because when you meet him, he's going to talk about his mom, and oh my gosh, you're just going to be enthralled. Oh my gosh, he has such a wonderful relationship with his mother. He loves his mother. And isn't that what we all want? A man who has a good relationship with his mother. And who has, a healthy, like, oh, I think she's amazing. My mom's my best friend. Like, we think that's a good thing, right? Oh my gosh, this is really great. This guy has a really good relationship with his mother. This is wonderful. This is a green flag. That's what we think initially. And he's going to talk about her. He's going to describe her. Oh, my mom's my best friend. And oh, my mom's so great. And this and that. And here's the thing I want you to be really mindful of, because it's now an epidemic. So if you're dating a man and she is a single mother, so here we go. She is a single mother. And I want you to ask, so your mom and dad are not together anymore. How long has it been since your mother's had a boyfriend? Or how long has it been since your mother's been in a relationship? If he answers never, like she's never been in a relationship after the relationship with my dad, she's never remarried, please, please, please take that as a big old red flag. Okay? Because the truth of the matter is, her son is her man. Her son has been acting emotionally as her man. So not only is she going to feel a way about you, she's going to feel a way about this relationship or marriage that you all are in. She's going to try to usurp, your place in his life. She's going to make it a point to let you know that she's numero uno. Okay. And then you're going to be like, uh-oh, like this is not as good as I thought. And guess what is going to happen in the interim? As she lets you know that she's number one, that whenever y'all go somewhere, she's sitting in the front seat, the front passenger seat, and you sitting in the back. Like, he's not going to do a thing to make her think otherwise. He's not going to stand up for you. He's not going to have your back. He's going to say, oh, this is my mother. What are you talking about? Of course she's going to sit up front. Of course I'm going to pull her chair out. Of course I'm going to pay for her. Of course on and on and on. On and on and on. Okay? And that right there, the fact that he cannot be loyal to you, his loyalty lies with her. And she could talk to you like a dog. And he going to be like, well, she really didn't mean it. Well, she going through this. Well, there you go. You hear it? There you go. That's a sign right there. When a man doesn't have a healthy, balanced view of his mother, he should cherish his mother. He should have respect for his mother. However, he should want to be in a relationship, and he should understand that, you know what? Just like the Bible says, you'll leave your father and your mother and you will cleave to your wife. He should want to do that. And he should be man enough to tell his mother that that's what's going to happen. Okay? So, nope, mom, the way you talk to my wife, that really hurt her feelings. That's not okay. And I don't want to feel like I'm in between you all, but, my wife is important. My wife is a priority. But that's what a good, healthy man will do. A mama's boy will not do that. Okay, what's your opinion on men dating single mothers? Okay, let me say this. I've always believed this, and it's something that I practice. I believe single fathers should date single mothers. There it is. I believe single fathers should date single mothers. So if that man has children, sure, have at it. But can I be real? I believe the single people, the unmarried and no children people should be left for the single, unmarried and no children people. That's just my thoughts. You can fight me on that in the comments, but that's what I believe. That those of us who have children need to be with other people who have children. We have more in common. We have more understanding about that dynamic. And for a man who's single and has no children, for him to try to take on the responsibility of not just the woman, but her kids, it's a lot. It's a lot. And let me say this, as a therapist, I deal with this a lot in my practice. And a lot of times it does not work out. I've seen women do it. I've seen women take on men that have children. They don't have any children. They're single. Don't work out. I've seen men do it. They meet a single mom. She has 2 kids. Yeah, I love her. I think I can do it. I love her kids. Don't work out. Don't work out. You're asking a lot of a person. I'm not saying it can't. I'm saying it's a whole lot of extra parts and pieces that you now have to figure out. Whole lot. So I believe single people with no children need to be with single people with no children. And people that's now single, they divorced, they have children, they need to be with other people that are divorced or have children. I only date men who've been married before and who have children. I do not date men, and I have a couple of men on my roster right now who have never been married and don't have children. I don't see it going anywhere. They're wonderful men. I enjoy, talking to them. I enjoy exchanging thoughts and ideas, but I don't see it going anywhere. I'm just being honest. We don't have the same experiences. We don't have the same understanding of life and of experiences. So, nope. All right, back to the mama's boy. Okay. So he can't stand up to her. He can't stand up for you. At first, you're going to think that his love for his mother is a good thing, but then you're going to see how twisted it is. And that's when you like, oh no, this is not a good thing. I thought this was going to be lovely, but it's not. It's going to be even worse if mama don't like you. So if mama has taken one good look at you and decided that she don't like you, oh no, you in for a world of hurt and pain, and just it ain't nothing good can come of it. Because think about it. You can't buck up against his mother. You can't talk bad about his mother. I'm just telling you, ladies, it don't work that way. Like, you really got to think about this thing when you dating him. Don't marry him if mama don't like you, or if mama, I'm his number one girl and this and that, and I'm always going to be, leave him alone. Because like I said, he's dutiful and loyal to her. And if he doesn't have a balanced view that says it's like two things can be true at the same time. I can love my mother and honor her, and I can prioritize my wife. Like, that's what should happen. I've had to tell men that. Men have come into session and sitting next to their wife. Well, I just feel like I'm in between. No, you're not. No, you're not. According to the Bible, you fall on the side of your wife because that's the person you chose. You chose to be with her. You chose to have a family with her. You came into your mother's life of her volition, not yours. So you're not in the middle. You on the side of your wife. You just haven't told your mother that yet. That's what you need to do. But anyway, I digress. Okay. True. And I can be the priority because there's no one that has to come before me. For sure. For sure. Especially in marriage. Okay. If you and him are married, the Bible says that he's going to leave his mother and his father. Point blank, period. He's going to cleave to his wife. And that's what should happen. But mama's boy can't do that now. Mama's boy can't do that. I lived through this. I lived through that woman coming and staying at my house. I lived through that woman calling places about our bills and pretending to be me. I lived through her writing checks out of our checkbook. Like, I lived through it. I lived through, I'm going to sit in this front seat. You're sitting in the back. Like, I lived through it. Never again. And I remember I dated a guy maybe, it's been like 8 or 9 years ago. And I mean, we only dated for about a month. But just based on what I was seeing, I was like, nah, I can't do that no more. I can't do that no more. I can't do that mama's boy thing no more. And I was like, you know what? We're not a good fit for each other. I think, we need to go ahead on. Yeah, I can see it coming a mile away. But it's going to feel awful. It's going to feel yucky. You're going to feel the triangulation, right? So this is a clinical term. It's a triangulation. So there's him, there's you, and there's the mother. And there's that, see that triangle there? And one is always going to be kind of going after the other. So if it isn't the mother talking about you, you going to him, but he's afraid to go to her. See, that's how it should go. Mom's talking about you, you go to him, he should go to her. But see, he like, I can't do that. I can't say that to my mama. She didn't mean it. Oh, she didn't. See, no, you can't live like that. Made the mistake of dating men with kids. It's challenging, though, because it seems like most men already have children. Yeah. But you know what? I have met men my age, 54, 55, that are unmarried and don't have children. So I need you to stay hopeful because they are out here. And the other option you have is dating a man older. And maybe that man's children are grown. You have that option too. I have a girlfriend who's doing that right now. She's 45. She's dating a man who's 50. So not much older, but his kids are in their mid-20s. And so, she doesn't want to have any children. And to me, okay, well, that fits then because his kids are in their mid-20s. They're long out of the house and they are enjoying their relationship. So that's a possibility. That's a possibility. I have male friends of mine that are younger than me and their kids are older than mine. So I find that really interesting. They had their children in their early 20s. I didn't have my children until early 30s. So I have gone out with men that they were fathers and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And one guy was like 45. or 46. And his kids were like my kids' age and older. And I was like, wow. So it's a thing. It's a thing. I would love to have kids. It's tough finding great women near me, though. A lot of social media corruption for people in my age. Ooh, Lord. Ooh, I feel so bad. But you know what I'm going to tell you? I don't feel bad, because here's the thing I'm going to tell you. You got to get out of your comfort zone. A lot of times when people come to me and they say that, it's because they haven't left their circle. And here's what I do. Here's what I do on the regular. Not only do I leave my circle, I leave the circle that's on the other side of that. Like, here's my circle, here's the next circle, and then I go out over here. And when I do that, I meet people out here that don't know these people in here. I meet a whole different person 2 circles over. And that's what I'm going to encourage you to do. Get out of your comfort zone. Get out of that circle. The women exist. The women exist. There are great women out here. I have so many beautiful early 20s, late 20s, 30 women in my practice, and they have no children, and they're unmarried. I consider them like, $1 billion suitcases. Like, there's $1 billion in that suitcase. I always tell them that. You be careful who you give that $1 billion suitcase to. Okay? But yeah, it's this mama's boy thing. It's a thing. So I just need you to be on the lookout. Be very careful for him, because he's going to come across as, oh my gosh, this is so great. I am meeting someone who clearly loves his mother, and I consider that a good thing. But is that relationship toxic? Is it codependent? Is it enmeshed? Is she all in his business? Are they talking every day? Are they texting every day? If she calls, does he drop everything and run every single time? Like, these are the things you got to ask yourself. And then the most important one is, does she like you? Because if she don't like you, don't do it. If you get any impression she don't like you, that woman about to make your life hell on earth. I lived through it, y'all. I lived through it. And I mean, this woman is now my ex-mother-in-law, but still. I mean, it's like I got PTSD. I'm traumatized. I'm traumatized from those years. This woman is a trip. When I tell you, don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. Hello. Okay. But you're going to see it coming. But like I said, it's not going to be as evident as like their first month of dating. You're going to have to. And this is what I would do, though. If you got any like weird, inklings about this, I would ask questions. And I would ask pointed questions like about his relationship. So one of the greatest questions a woman can ask is, what's the relationship like with your mother? What's the relationship like with your father? Right? And really listen. Really, really listen. Don't just gloss over that. Really listen. Okay? So I'm going to jump off. I'm going to charge my phone and I'll be back. But yes, the wife should sit in the front seat. Like, come on now, y'all. Hold on a second. I'm going to grab my charger. Because, yeah, my phone is going to die. That's on me. I'm sorry about that. But, yeah, I should have known better, because I knew my phone was, the charge was running low. But, yes, wife sits in the front seat. Wife sits in the front seat every time. And again, there are ways you can honor your mother. If you're a man watching this, there are plenty of ways to honor your mother. The Bible calls you to honor your mother and your father. And you can do that and make your wife the priority. Make your wife the priority. 2 things can be true at the same time. Do you know that's one of the main lessons I teach in therapy? Is that 2 things can be true at the same time, because people want to adopt this black and white thinking. Oh, if I say something to my mom about the way she talked to my wife, I'm a bad son. No, you're not. You're a grown man. That's what it's called. You're a grown man. And as long as you do it with kindness, you're a grown man. That's it. So, but be really cautious about this, because I remember I was 6 months. I think I was 6 months in. No, that's a lie. I think I was like 4 months in. 4 months in is when I realized that the relationship was twisted. And y'all, when I tell y'all this story, so when he was getting ready to propose to me, guess who went and picked out the ring? Mama. Mama went and picked out the ring. And the ring was not what I wanted. It was not what I chose. Like it didn't look nothing like what I wanted. It didn't look nothing like what was the style that I wanted. But she picked out what she thought I should have and how much it should cost. That was the biggest red flag of all. I should have turned down that proposal. I should have said, look, you got to get this situation straight with your mother. But here's what I did do. So in my youth, in my, not being as far as I am now in my emotional growth, I pitched an entire fit. Once I found out that she picked out that ring. I took that ring off my finger. I threw it at him. I said, you better take this back. You better get me something that you picked out. You better get me something that you determine I want to have. Because she not going to determine what my ring looks like. It's not based on what she want me to have. It's based on what you want me to have. Yeah, I threw a complete and utter fit. I can own that. But again, I was not nearly even close to what I am today. Thank God, God has done a work in me. I thank God for that every day. I really do. Every single day. I was telling my mother that just today. We were talking on the phone. I said, "Ooh, Lord, God has done a work in me. He has allowed me to deal with so much mess and to come out just, cool, calm, and collected." So trust when I tell you. So the wife should never address his mother about any of her behavior. Leave it for your man or husband to handle. Ideally, yes. Because why? Because it's his mother, right? And if there's something going on your side of the family, you're to address it. And the reason why this is so important is because it's showing your partner that you have their back. Okay? So number one, it's your side of the family, not mine. Number two, you got my back. That's it. That's the message we need to send. That you got my back and you're going to handle your side of the family. If my mother cut up and acted fit, I got your back. And I'm going to say something to her. And I've had that happen. Where I was dating a gentleman, she didn't care for him. She got a little snippy at dinner. I was like, that's not cool. I straight up said it. That's not cool. That wasn't sweet. That wasn't nice. I sure did. And regardless of what you think about him, don't do that. Don't disrespect him. Don't disrespect me. But yeah, that's how that should go. Each person should handle their sides of the family. And again, it lets your partner know, I got this. I'm going to handle this. I have your back. So for sure, be mindful of the mama's boy, though. And the mama's boy is interesting in that, like I said, he has this. It's in some regards, let's put it this way. In some regards, he has a masculine frame and he feels like, okay, I'm to honor my mother. I'm to look after my mother. I'm to, be a good son to my mother. And that's a wonderful thing. Where it becomes twisted is when he can't have your back, when mom is out of pocket or something's going on. He doesn't have boundaries. See, that's when it's getting twisted. There are no boundaries for mom. That mom can just come over without calling. Mom has a key to our house. Whenever mom calls, I drop what I'm doing. We're in the middle of our date and I run over there and tend to it. See, that he's boundaryless when it comes to mother. And that's what is not okay, right? So please look for those boundaries. And to me, looking for a man who has healthy boundaries with people, it's an easy one. It's so easy. I always tell women this. You're going to find this out with his children. You're going to find this out with his exes. You're going to find this out with his mother and anybody else. What do his boundaries look like with these people? And especially the people that he loves. Like, you need to know what a man's boundaries are with the people that he loves. Because everybody can get some. Like, I don't know where people are getting this whole, and my mom should be able to do what she wants. And my kids no, everybody gets some. Everyone in my life gets some form of boundaries. Every single one. And I love all of them. But they get boundaries. Friends get boundaries. My mother, my father, my brothers, my kids. Everybody get boundaries. Okay? So pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. And it's just like still paying mom's bills and still just doing a whole lot. And if his mother is of a working age and she's healthy, and she doesn't have any problems and she's working. No, you need to figure this out. You need to handle this. But running and saving her all the time when he got a family over here with you and a lot of his check is going to her and paying her bills. He has to have good, healthy boundaries. And unless she's unable to work or disabled or old and ailing, she needs to figure it out. But let me tell y'all, the biggest red flag with the single mother that's raised the man that you with is that mother has not had a man since your father. That's the biggest red flag of all. If you ask him, okay, so your mom and dad were married and they got a divorce, or okay, your mom and dad were never married. So has she dated anyone since? Has she been in a relationship since? Is she remarried? If the answer is no, I'm just telling y'all, I'm just telling y'all, I lived it. I lived it. Okay, I be telling y'all, when you talking to somebody older, it ain't a theory. It's called life experience. It's called, I walked it out. That's why I'm sharing that. But I kid y'all not, this woman had not had another man since his father. And this man is 51, 52. And so, so you ain't been with nobody else? Nobody else? Like, y'all, come on. And again, that's because your man is her man. Okay? Your man is her man. It's weird. It's some weirdness going on out here, y'all. It's weird. And it's so funny to me that women don't think it's anything wrong with it. They don't think it's anything wrong with treating their son like their man. Nah, man, that's weird. So just be mindful of this one. This one, like I said, it's going to sneak up on you, and it may take a little while for you to really figure out what's going on. I think I was 4 or 5 months in. That's when I figured, when my, ex was getting ready to propose and I found out she picked out that ring, that's when I knew how twisted it was. It was a lot of little signs, but nothing truly definitive until that happened. There was the whole sitting in the front seat. There was the whole, I want to stay with y'all. I want to cook for my son. He not going to like that. He not going to like your cooking and all this mess. And then that was it. That was it. That was the biggest red flag of all, was that whole, I'm going to pick out. What? Are you kidding me? So you going with your son, you going to pick out my ring? Yeah, you have passed bold. See, I can't, y'all. I can't do it. Okay, I think we should normalize single mothers getting masculine mentors and signing up their children for Men of Excellence programs. Absolutely. I'm actually trying to start something like that here. And what's really, really ridiculous is I am having the hardest time doing that. I'm having a really hard time. So number one, I'm having a really hard time finding male mentors. I really, really am, y'all. I'm just having the hardest time finding men to come alongside, like for me to come alongside. And I'm willing to, what's so ridiculous is I'm willing to do the legwork. I'm willing to do the paperwork. I'm willing to find the funding. I'm willing to do that. But I need men, that are going to run it and be the face of it and lead it. And it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle. It's something that I'm going to lean into in the fall. And I'm actually looking to make it a 403B. So I'm actually looking to make it a nonprofit. So I'm actually looking to create a nonprofit that is just that. Creating a program for boys from 13 to 20. So from 13 to 20 or 21, I still haven't figured that out, but I know it will start at 13. And that program will be weekend, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, weekend, once a month, twice a month. And these men and these young men will come together, and there will be varying activities, varying talks, varying things that they will do. And maybe there's even a week over the summer where we'll all collectively do a week-long camp. This is the dream. This is the dream, y'all. For those who have completely absent fathers from 13 and up, they need something. They need something. And Steve Harvey has a summer, and it's not even the whole summer. It's 3 or 4 days in the summer. He has something similar, and it's incredibly hard to get into. Do you know I have applied? My son has applied to Steve Harvey's Academy or whatever. He's applied to it. I think we've applied like 5 times. Like we just every year kept applying, and never got chosen. It's extremely hard to get into. But I said, okay, that's a national thing. Maybe it is going to be hard. He probably gets 50,000 applications a year. I said, let me try to see if I could start something locally. But y'all, when I tell you, it has been a struggle. So I want you to really pray for me on that, because I would love to start a program here in my area. And it is just hard. It's hard. I'm trying to connect with the right men and make the right connections. There are black male therapists here, and it's even hard to get an appointment with a black male therapist. Some of them don't even call you back. Like, it's really, really hard. So I'm going to keep trying. He says, I can give you the contact of my old teacher if that helps. He's a married Muslim black man that's a math teacher and helps young black boys in alternative schools, if that helps. That would be amazing if you could. So DM me that information. I really would appreciate that, because we need help. We need help here in Virginia. And I just, like I said, I'm willing to do a lot of the grunt work. I'm willing to do a lot of the hardest part of it. I just need men to want to be mentors to young boys. And I've even made the suggestion to some of the men that I know, like, hey, you could bring your sons. Like, nobody's asking you to take time away from your sons. I'm saying bring your sons. Bring your sons with you. And on that weekend or that Saturday, yeah, bring your sons with you. And reach out and give a little to another boy. That's it. That's it. She said, it's sad. It's an epidemic, especially for boys of color who don't have fathers. Yep. I would hope that more black men would step up, but there is the problem. Not enough help, but many needs. It's sad. Yeah. So that's one of my dreams. I have another dream, y'all, that I could share, which is to, I'm trying to buy 5 to 10 acres of land in Goochland County, which is not far from me. I'd like to build my dream home, my final home, my last and final home on that land. I'd also like to build a smaller home on that land for my mother and my daughter. So my mother and my daughter would live in that second smaller home. But then I'd also like to have a place to have my animals. I'd love to have a place where I could host something like this. Like, I could invite boys to come to my home, and they would come Saturday. They would spend the night until Sunday. The men would have these activities and do things with them, teach them about the animals. They could go out on my land and they could learn how to shoot. They could learn how to hunt. They could learn how to do archery. They could learn all kinds of interesting, like they could learn how to camp and how to fish. Like, they could learn some real manhood skills out on my land. That's like my dream. My dream is to do something like that. And I would love for my kids to be a part of it. I'd love for my son to be a part of it. Like, that's my dream. That's my dream. So y'all, if you're praying, people, pray about that. Pray about Anita's, dream and hope to help young men, to help boys and young men that don't have fathers in the home, or even if they do have fathers, those fathers are not stepping up in a real way. They don't have any type of masculine role models. Y'all, please pray about that, because that's something, oh my gosh, if I could figure that out and figure out the funding for it and everything. But you know what? It's one of those things that I bet you, if I could get the men to sign on, I could get the funding. Y'all, if there's nothing else about me, I know how to get people to give money. Like, I could get the funding. I know I could. I just need the men. I need the men to show up. It doesn't make sense for me to run something like that. It's just more of the same. Like, I need the men to do it. So y'all pray about that. Okay, she says, Program West Virginia chapter. I need to look into that. Hello, Keely. All right. So, mama's boys, y'all. Like, this one's going to sneak up on you. And you might be knee deep in it before you realize what it is. And then you got your work cut out for you. You got to have some real conversations with this guy, because this guy could be a great guy. That's what's so frustrating. He could be a really great guy. He could be a wonderful man to you. He could be a provider, a protector, and all of those things. But if he has an unhealthy, enmeshed, codependent relationship with his mother, if he has a boundaryless relationship with his mother, that's a problem. That's going to be a problem long term. But I've seen it and I lived it with my own eyes. So please be mindful of this guy. All right, I'm going to get going because I'm about to dive into some work. I still have not put up the podcast, so I'm going to dive into that next, getting the podcast for this week. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, y'all, please head over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel. The podcast for this week, you all must, if you've never listened to my podcast at all, you need to listen to this week's episode. Coach Paula Grooms is on this week's episode. So I'm about to load it now. I'm about to load some clips. I'm about to post and load some clips. But y'all, she about to blow this thing out the water. You're going to be mad, but you also going to be glad at the same time. You're going to be mad and glad. But a part of you is going to be like, what? For real? That book. You got to get her book. Why Won't Men Commit? You got to go over to Amazon and order that book. It's going to change the game. It will change the game, change everything you know about this dating and relationship thing. And it's going to make you wise, ladies. It's going to give you wisdom that you should have gotten long ago. All right, that sounds dope. Definitely need it, because looking at my nephews, their friends, and a bunch of other kids I see on social media in public looking lifeless from all the video games. Right, y'all, my phone will not act right. And I got it plugged in, but I got to get off of here and let my phone charge. All right, so please, please, please check out the podcast, Better Love Movement, over on YouTube. And anywhere you listen to podcasts, Better Love Movement. Check out this week. And thank you so much for you all joining me. And as always, stay open to love.